Good evening from the Georgia WeatherNet 24-hour Storm Center. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen on this special Saturday evening update. It is 6:55. We can put the radar in motion. We see a few thunderstorms already moving into Columbus and LaGrange, West Georgia. Very light rain in northeast Georgia, light showers, kind of foggy around the mid-state. But we are watching a line of severe weather moving in from the west. We've been talking about this for the last several days. This is part of a strong cold front. And we've been monitoring some tornadoes in the Nashville area. The National Weather Service calling that a catastrophic tornado outbreak. Again, those are not hyped words coming in from social media people. That's from the National Weather Service, and some very bad damage, especially north of Nashville, and we'll be seeing more pictures of that as the sun comes up tomorrow. But a very, very rough night for Middle Tennessee. And you see the line of severe thunderstorms, the yellow rotating boxes there. Those are all severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're just linked together like a chain through Middle Tennessee, now starting to move into extreme northwest Alabama, and then stretching down through northern Mississippi. Now, we do have one good thing going for us here in Georgia. We are getting later in the day, later in the evening. Obviously, the sun has set a long time ago, so we don't have that solar heating. That's going to help these storms somewhat weaken, but still we're looking at the threat of severe weather. As a matter of fact, the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded their severe weather outlook for Middle Tennessee, now on that level 3, and that was for good reason with those tornadoes. Still going to hang on to that level 2 out of 5 risk in extreme northwest Georgia, up in Dade, Walker County, up in Murray County, Chattooga County in there as well, into Floyd County. So even just very close to Rome, Berry College in that level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk. And most of the state of Georgia, North Georgia, Middle Georgia, and a good part of Southwest Georgia in that lighter shade of yellow, and that's a level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk. And the only reason it runs out on the other side of Macon is this takes us until tomorrow morning, and it's going to take these storms through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning before they can completely cross the state. So we'll be watching out for severe weather through the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at the modeling. First thing I always look at are the dew point readings. This is the actual fuel for severe weather. Northeast Georgia, those dew points are in the 50s. Again, very stable atmosphere, just kind of a cool rain in the northern part of the state. East Georgia, the same thing. But we see those 60s in northwest Georgia. Rome, 63. Noonan at 63. Atlanta, 61. So that's getting in that range that will help support severe weather. As we continue through the late night hours tonight, you can still hanging in there, actually going up a bit. Rome 64 there at midnight, and then through the overnight hours, still hanging on to those high dew points. Columbus at 65. So just want to show you that. We won't go into the entire explanation of what dew point is, but just know that when we get into the 60s, we really need to be above 57. You start getting into the 60s, and that will support severe weather. But then you get up into the northeast corner of the state, and that's not going to be very supportive of severe weather. So let's take a look at one of our other models here that we look at. This is our significant tornado parameter. So this puts together several elements. First of all, do we have that convective energy in the atmosphere? And do we have spin? Do we have enough of that rotation of the change of direction in the atmosphere from the surface up to the upper levels, especially in the first kilometer up to 3 kilometers up in the atmosphere? That's really what we're looking for. And the answer is absolutely yes. We have pretty good amounts of that as we move through the evening hours. So let me just back up just a little bit. So here's where we are right now, actually. You can start to see some numbers beginning to pop up, and we're showing that SIGTOR is what we call it, about 1.5 there for northwest Georgia. We continue moving into the late night hours tonight. By about midnight, starting to see that fizzle out somewhat. But when we see those blues and the grays in there, this is an indicator that we do have the energy in the atmosphere. We know we have the moisture in the atmosphere. We saw it with those dew point readings, and we're looking at that wind shear that will help spin up these storms. So initially, we're going to be watching out for just isolated storms on the front side, like what we're seeing right now in the Columbus area. And then we're going to see that main line of storms move through. So let's time it out. We'll go ahead and go back to our local map here, and we'll take a look at our simulated radar. Just give me 1 second. We'll get over there, doing all this in real time. So here we go. So let's advance forward to where we are now at 7 o'clock as I record this video. So we're at 7 o'clock. See those isolated thunderstorms out ahead. Keep in mind now, the atmosphere is ripe. Northwest Georgia, mainly just if you draw a line from Atlanta north up to the mountains, going to be west of that line. That's where the atmosphere is right for these storms to start to spin. And then we head toward 9 p.m. Here we go. The line starting to push in closer into into Georgia. Rome's going to pick up those thunderstorms around 10 p.m. and then another line on the backside of that. So we're going to see how much energy that first line takes out of the atmosphere. Otherwise, that second line is going to also be very, very ripe for producing some strong to severe thunderstorms and some spin-up tornadoes. So this is going to be 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can see still in northwest Georgia, starting to move toward metro Atlanta by 3 a.m., that initial line cutting just north of I-85, going from Carrollton, Noonan, Atlanta, and then up to Lake Lanier. And then that secondary line is going to be a little bit more stable. You can see that the rain is a little bit lighter there on the backside by 3 a.m. We go toward 4 a.m. Still a lot going on in metro Atlanta. At 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, we head towards 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, finally moving out of metro Atlanta, but still lingering around Athens, stretching down to Columbus. And then we'll continue to move on through tomorrow morning. See that line just slowly moving through, starting to break up as we move into the mid-morning hours tomorrow. So we do have that level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk for southeast Georgia. We'll see if that gets upgraded, but right now it looks like that line's just going to start busting up as we move into mid-morning hours tomorrow and by tomorrow afternoon. Still looking at those thunderstorms. Again, some could go strong to severe, but our main threat's going to be northwest Georgia tonight up until around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and still on the lookout in metro Atlanta and along the I-85 corridor as we move past that 2 a.m. until about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So remain weather aware. Be sure to have a way that you can pick up those severe weather warnings through the overnight hours. The folks in Nashville and the Nashville area, the good news was at least it was during the time where a lot of people are up and awake and able to get the information out. As for us, we're going to have to deal with this through the overnight hours, so please make sure you have those weather radios set and ready to go. And if you don't have a weather radio, you need to get one ASAP, and you can use your cell phone, and they're good as long as we have a cell signal that's available, and sometimes that's hit or miss, so just have those wireless emergency alerts turned on through the overnight hours tonight, and we'll continue to keep you up to date right here on the Georgia Weather Net.